I've been doing this for over 20 years now, and I can tell you the story I'm about to tell has played out in my office more times than I can count. A man walks in, usually somewhere in his 60s, sometimes 70s, sometimes even his 50s, and then he's looking at the floor, he's fidgeting with his wedding ring, and finally he says something like, "Doc, I don't know what's wrong with me. Things start out fine, but a few minutes in I lose it." And my wife, she's starting to wonder if I still find her attractive. If that sounds familiar to you, and if you've been carrying that weight around, feeling embarrassed, frustrated, maybe even hopeless, I want you to stop right here and listen. Because I made this video for you, not for the guys in their 20s who just had one bad night after too many beers. For you, the men who've been married 30, 40, 50 years, the men who've done everything right and still can't figure out why your body won't cooperate. I'm going to break down the 7 real reasons this happens to men over 60, and more importantly, I'm going to give you the exact solutions I've used with thousands of my own patients. And I promise, by the end of this video, you're going to feel a whole lot more in control than you do right now. Hi, I'm Dr. Ava Remington. I've been practicing urology and men's health for more than 2 decades, helping men protect their prostate, restore their performance, and just plain feel like themselves again. I want you to stick with me all the way through because I've saved some of the best evidence-based solutions for the end, the same ones I walk my patients through every single week. Now, before we get into the 7 reasons, I want to tell you something real quick. A few weeks back, a gentleman left a comment on one of my videos that honestly stopped me in my tracks. He said he walks his dog 3 times a day, eats clean, doesn't drink, doesn't smoke. And he still feels ashamed as a husband because sometimes he just can't keep it hard. And I want to say this directly to him and to everyone watching who feels the same way. This does not define your worth. This does not define your manhood. And the fact that you're doing everything right and still struggling is not your fault. It's your biology asking for a little help. That's exactly what I'm here for. So let's get into it. To fix this problem, you've got to understand how an erection actually works. And I'm going to keep the science simple because nobody needs a medical school lecture. Think of your penis like a balloon with a one-way valve. When you get aroused, your brain sends a signal down through your pelvic nerves, and that signal releases something called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide tells the arteries in your penis to relax and open up, and blood rushes in and fills those chambers. At the same time, tiny little valves in the outflow veins snap shut, trapping that blood inside. That trapped blood is what gives you that firm, reliable erection. That's it. That's the whole magic trick. Here's the catch, and this is what almost no doctor explains to you. As we age, our bodies make less and less nitric oxide. Research shows production can drop by up to 50% between the ages of 40 and 70. 50%. That means by the time you hit 60 or 65, your body is trying to do the same job with half the fuel. That's not a character flaw. That's not a sign you don't love your wife anymore. That's plumbing and chemistry. And the good news, the really good news, is that plumbing and chemistry can be fixed. All right, let's get into the 7 reasons men your age lose their erection during sex. Straight from my 2 decades of treating guys just like you. Reason number 1, gravity is literally working against you. I know that sounds ridiculous, but hear me out. Most doctors will never mention this, and it drives me nuts. The position you're in matters more than you think. When you're lying flat on your back with your partner on top, gravity is pulling blood away from your penis and back toward your heart. If you've got any degree of what we call venous leak, where those little outflow valves don't seal up tight anymore, gravity is going to drain you faster than you can maintain pressure. And venous leak is incredibly common in men over 60. It comes with age, it can come from old injuries, sometimes from decades of sitting at a desk job. The point is, your body isn't betraying you. You're just playing defense against physics. Reason number 2, the mental game. I cannot tell you how many men walk into my office convinced something is physically wrong when the real problem is sitting between their ears. Your brain is your most important sexual organ, period. Studies show psychological factors can account for up to 60% of erectile issues. When your mind drifts to thoughts like, am I going to lose it again tonight? Or, is she losing patience with me? Or, what if this is the night she gives up on me? That kind of thinking lights up your sympathetic nervous system. That's your fight or flight response. And fight or flight is the exact opposite of what your body needs to maintain an erection. You can't be scared and aroused at the same time. Your body just won't let you. Reason number 3, decreased sensitivity. This one doesn't get talked about enough. As we age, the nerve endings in the penis get less responsive. Research out of the British Journal of Urology shows sensitivity can drop by up to 30% between ages 40 and 70. 30%. On top of that, the blood vessels lose elasticity, so even when the signal does come through, the response is slower and weaker. Less sensation means less stimulation, and less stimulation means the erection fades partway through. It's not that you don't want it, it's that your body isn't getting the same wake-up call it used to. Reason number 4, insufficient arousal. And I want to be careful how I phrase this. Sometimes men in long marriages fall into a rhythm where they go through the motions without really being there mentally. And look, that's understandable. Life gets in the way. You're worried about retirement, grandkids, the news, your back, the grocery bill. But if you're physically present and mentally 1,000 miles away, your brain isn't going to send strong enough signals to maintain an erection. Intimacy requires you to actually show up in your head, in your heart, in the moment. Reason number 5, performance anxiety. And this is the big one. This is the self-fulfilling prophecy that traps more men than anything else I see in my clinic. It works like this. One time, maybe after a long day, maybe after too much Thanksgiving dinner, maybe just because your body was tired, you lose your erection. And your wife says it's fine, and you say it's fine. But in the back of your mind, a seed gets planted. The next time things get romantic, that seed sprouts into a thought. Please don't let that happen again. And the more you think it, the more your body responds to the stress and the more likely it actually happens. I've had patients tell me they feel like they're watching themselves from outside their own body, monitoring every second, praying it won't fail. And that monitoring, that hypervigilance, is exactly what causes the failure. Your body cannot relax into arousal when your mind is running a cockpit check every 30 seconds. I had a patient a few years back, a retired Air Force pilot out of Colorado Springs, and he described it perfectly. He said, "Doc, it's like whenever there's a chance for intimacy, there's this voice in the back of my head saying, 'Please don't let that happen this time.' And then it happens, and I just want to disappear. Because now I have to explain that old line. It's not you, it's me. And I'm terrified she thinks I'm not attracted to her anymore. When the truth is, I'm more attracted to her than I was the day I married her 41 years ago." That story has stuck with me ever since, because I know hundreds of you watching are living the exact same loop right now. And I want you to hear me clearly. You are not alone in this. You are not broken. And there is a way out. Reason number 6, cardiovascular health. Here's the plain truth. An erection is a vascular event. It's blood flow. So anything that messes with your overall circulation is going to mess with your performance in the bedroom. High blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, clogged arteries, all of these damage the delicate blood vessels in the penis first before they show up as heart problems. In fact, a study in the American Journal of Cardiology found that erectile dysfunction often shows up 3 to 5 years before a cardiac event. That means what's happening in the bedroom can be an early warning system for what's coming at your heart. This is why I tell every single one of my patients, if things aren't working downstairs, we need to check what's going on upstairs in that heart of yours. Reason number 7, hormonal changes, particularly testosterone. After age 30, most men lose about 1% of their testosterone every year. By the time you're 65, you might be running on half the testosterone you had in your 30s. Low T affects libido, erection quality, sensitivity, energy, mood, the whole package. And most men your age have never had their levels properly checked. Ask your doctor for a full hormone panel. Don't let them brush you off with a "you're just getting older" speech. Getting older is not a diagnosis. All right, now we know what's going wrong. Let's talk about how to fix it, because this is what you came here for. Solution number 1, and I'm starting with the simplest one. Empty your bladder completely before intimacy. I know that sounds obvious, but a full bladder presses on the same pelvic nerves that control your erection. It's basic anatomy, and it's one of those tiny things that can make a real difference. Solution number 2, use gravity to your advantage. Pick positions that work with your body instead of against it, standing side by side or with you on top. These all like gravity help pool blood where you need it. This matters a lot if you've got any venous leak. A lot of couples in their 60s and 70s have been using the same pearl or 1 or 2 positions since the Carter administration, and that might be part of what's hurting you. Talk to your wife. She'll probably appreciate the honesty, and you might both find this brings you closer. Solution number 3, make foreplay the main event, not the warm-up act. When your partner is fully aroused, the whole encounter goes better for both of you. And honestly, at our age, intimacy isn't a race to the finish line. It's a meal, not a snack. Take your time, slow down, rediscover what it was like when you were first dating. I've had patients tell me that focusing on their wife's pleasure for the first 15 or 20 minutes actually solved more of their performance issues than any pill ever did. Because when you're focused outward instead of inward, that performance anxiety we talked about doesn't have room to grow. Solution number 4, cut back on the alcohol before sex. I know a glass of wine with dinner feels like part of the evening, and I'm not saying you can't enjoy it. But alcohol is a depressant. It slows down the nerve signals that drive your erection, and it dehydrates you, which reduces blood volume. Studies show that even moderate drinking can cut erectile function by up to 25%. If intimacy is on the menu tonight, save the second glass for tomorrow. Solution number 5, be strategic about how often you finish. Now, this one surprises a lot of men. Your body needs time to rebuild the hormones, neurotransmitters, and energy reserves that make strong erections possible. While every man is different, I found that a lot of my patients in their 60s and 70s do much better when they space things out. Sometimes 7 to 10 days between finishes. That doesn't mean no intimacy during that time, it just means shifting the focus. Some of the happiest couples I work with have rediscovered cuddling, extended foreplay, and mutual pleasure without the pressure of a finish line. Your wife is going to love this approach, trust me. Solution number 6, consider a constriction ring. I know. A lot of men flinch when I bring this up, but hear me out. A simple medical grade constriction ring worn at the base of the penis helps trap blood where you need it. If venous leak is part of your problem, this can be an absolute game changer. These are FDA-cleared devices. They're safe when used properly, and they've restored the sex life of more of my patients than I can count. You can get them at any reputable pharmacy or medical supply website. This is not a gimmick. This is real medicine. And by the way, I've had a lot of you asking about vacuum erection devices too. I'm working on a full video just on those, so stay tuned. Solution number 7, build a long-term vascular support plan. This is the one most men skip because it takes time and patience. But if you want lasting results, not just a quick fix for Saturday night, you've got to address the underlying health of your blood vessels and hormones. That means walking 30 minutes a day at a real pace, not a stroll. It means eating more leafy greens, beets, watermelon, and pomegranates. Foods that naturally boost nitric oxide. It means cutting back on the processed stuff, the sugar, the late night snacks. And for a lot of men, it means working with your doctor on targeted nutrients like L-arginine, French maritime pine bark extract, and pomegranate extract, all of which have real clinical research behind them for vascular health. Solution number 8, address sensitivity on multiple fronts. If decreased sensitivity is part of your problem, don't just try to power through it. First, get your testosterone checked. Not just a basic test, but a full panel with free testosterone and SHBG. Low T is directly tied to reduced sensitivity, and it's fixable. Second, gentle vibratory stimulation has actually been shown in research to increase local nitric oxide production and wake up those nerve endings. Third, improve circulation overall, because better blood flow means better nerve function and better sensation everywhere. Now, before I wrap up, I want to talk about something that came up a lot in the comments on my last video. Many of you asked very fairly about supplements, and I want to be straight with you. The supplement world for men's health is the Wild West. Most of what you see advertised on sketchy websites, late-night TV, and pop-up ads is garbage. Poorly made, underdosed, sometimes even dangerous. Some of you have asked me to verify my credentials, and I respect that completely. You should never trust a doctor on the internet just because they have a white coat in their thumbnail. I've been board certified and practicing for over 20 years, and anything I recommend to you, I've either used with my own patients or reviewed the clinical research personally. I'd rather tell you to skip a product than push you towards something that won't help, or worse, could hurt you. A few of you asked where to find these products outside of the United States. I saw questions from viewers in India, the UK, the Philippines, and a bunch of other places. The short answer is, most reputable brands ship internationally now through large marketplaces, but always check for third-party testing and certified brands. If you can't find something locally, ask your own doctor about equivalent products available in your country. Your health is too important to trust to whatever loudest ad is running on your phone. Now, I want to close with this. A few months ago, that patient I mentioned earlier, the Air Force pilot, came in for his 6-month follow-up. He walked into my office, and the first thing he said was, "Doc, we went to Hawaii for our anniversary last month, and it was better than our honeymoon." He wasn't bragging. He was nearly in tears. He said he'd gotten his nitric oxide up, his testosterone balanced, started walking every morning with his wife, and most of all, he'd let go of the fear. Because once he understood that what was happening wasn't a personal failure, it was just physiology that needed a little help, the shame dissolved. And when the shame dissolved, the performance followed. That's what I want for every single one of you watching. I want you to understand that losing an erection during sex is not a judgment on you as a man, a husband, a partner, or a human being. It's a medical issue with medical solutions. It's common, it's treatable, and you don't have to carry it around in silence anymore. Your sexual health is not separate from the rest of your health. It's one of the clearest windows into how your heart, your hormones, and your whole body are doing. So when you take care of this, you're taking care of all of it. You're giving yourself more energy, better sleep, sharper focus, and yes, a deeper connection with the person you've spent your life loving. Don't suffer in silence. Don't let shame steal another year from you. Talk to your doctor. Talk to your wife. Come back to this channel and watch the next video because I'm going to be covering vacuum erection devices, testosterone optimization, and how to have the conversation with your partner without making it weird. You're worth it. You've worked hard your whole life. You've raised families, served your communities, put food on the table, and shown up for the people you love decade after decade. You deserve to feel confident, connected, and fully alive in every part of your life, including this one. I'll see you in the next video. I'll